Hello everyone. In this video series, we will be seeing a set of geography questions and we will be trying to answer those questions by studying the concept behind it and also applying the logic or the prelim solving logic into those. So, we will start with the first question. Which one of the following statement is correct with reference to the Earth's atmosphere? Carbon dioxide and water vapor are found only up to 120 kilometers from the surface of Earth. Oxygen will be almost in negligible quantity at the height of 90 kilometers. Carbon dioxide is transparent to the outgoing terrestrial radiation. Water vapor plays a role in preserving the Earth's radiated heat. So this question is regarding Earth's atmosphere, and we have the statements which is regarding the distribution of gases in the Earth's atmosphere. So regarding the atmosphere, from our geography topics, we need to study regarding the composition and the structure of atmosphere. So this question is basically regarding the composition of atmosphere. So atmosphere is not homogeneous. We know that it is a mixture of several gases. And if you look at the distribution of these gases, we know that nitrogen is the most abundant gas, then comes oxygen, then comes argon, etc. And these gases are not equally distributed all around the atmosphere. The distribution of these gases varies according to their density. We know that the denser gases tend to stick to the bottom layers of atmosphere, or the heavier gases tend to stick to the bottom layers of atmosphere, while the lighter or the less denser gases tend to stick to the top layers of atmosphere. That's why we use the hydrogen or the helium air for the balloons, so that balloons can go up, because hydrogen and helium are light air or lighter gases. So they will rise upwards. So here the question is regarding carbon dioxide, oxygen and water vapor. The first statement says that carbon dioxide and water vapor are found only up to 120 kilometer. Okay, it is found only up to 120 kilometer. Second statement says that oxygen will be almost in negligible quantity up to a height of 90 kilometer. So we know that these gases are not uniformly distributed along the altitude of the atmosphere. Oxygen up to 90 kilometer, carbon dioxide up to 120 kilometer. Okay, suppose this is the surface of Earth. Up to 90 kilometer we have oxygen, up to 120 kilometer we have carbon dioxide. Just think or just apply logic. Carbon dioxide means one carbon atom plus two oxygen atoms. Oxygen is just simply oxygen, two oxygen atoms. So basically, carbon dioxide should be heavier than oxygen, right? Because it is having a carbon atom added to it. Carbon dioxide should be heavier than oxygen, which means that carbon dioxide should be lying at the bottom layer compared to oxygen. So either of these statements are wrong. Okay. If you look at the third statement, carbon dioxide is transparent to the outgoing terrestrial radiation. No, that's a wrong statement. We know that carbon dioxide, it acts as a greenhouse gas. It is transparent to the incoming radiation and it acts as an opaque to the outgoing radiation. That means it does not allow the terrestrial radiation to get out of the Earth's atmosphere. That's why we have the heating process and the increase in temperature over Earth. So here the third statement or C is wrong. Carbon dioxide is not transparent to the outgoing radiation. It is opaque to the outgoing radiation. It is transparent to the incoming radiation. So C is anywhere wrong. If you look at the statement D, water vapor plays a role in preserving the Earth's radiated heat. It's a very general statement. It is simply saying that plays a role. Okay, let it be a good role or bad role or whatever it is. It is having some impact on the Earth's radiation or preserving the Earth's radiated heat. So if you simply apply the logic, we can't see anything wrong over here. But there should be there are some issues between A and B. So the answer is D. The water vapor plays a role in preserving the Earth's radiated heat. One of the gas which affects the temperature distribution of Earth, which holds the Earth's temperature, is water vapor or moisture. It can occupy or it can carry a lot of heat compared to the other gases. So here option D is the right answer and A, B, C are wrong. So that is the first question. Okay, moving on to the second question. With reference to the forces that affect the horizontal winds near the Earth's surface, consider the following statements. So the question is regarding horizontal winds. Okay, horizontal winds and the forces that affect the horizontal wind. Pressure gradient force is strong where the isobars are close to each other and is weak where the isobars are apart. Frictional force is minimal over the sea surface. Coriolis force deflects the wind to the left direction in northern hemisphere and to the right in the southern hemisphere. If you see the factors affecting wind, okay, the factors affecting wind, we have three major factors. Okay, three major factors affecting wind. One is the pressure gradient. This is the first factor. Second factor is the Coriolis force. And third factor is the frictional force or the frictional drag. So basically the question is regarding the three factors affecting wind. So we will see the first statement says that pressure gradient force is strong where isobars are close to each other and weak where isobars are apart. Pressure gradient. Pressure gradient basically means rate of change of pressure. Like if you have point A, if you have point B, if the distance between point A and point B is 10 kilometers, the pressure gradient is the difference of these pressure at these 2 points divided by the distance between them. So that is the rate of change of pressure. So it is saying that it is strong where isobars are close to each other and weak where isobars are apart. So what are isobars? If you draw a line joining the points of Earth having the same pressure, we get an isobar. So suppose these are two isobars, like suppose this is the 10 Pascal isobar, this is the 11 Pascal. Distance between them is, suppose it will be 1 kilometer. Okay, distance between them is 1 kilometer. In other case, we have two isobars, distance between them is 2 kilometer. So here this one is closer, this one is far away. In both the cases, the first isobar the pressure is 10 Pascal, second isobar the pressure is 11 Pascal. So in the first case, within 1 kilometer, we have the change of 1 Pascal pressure. In second case, we have the change of 1 Pascal pressure by 2 kilometers, which means that the pressure gradient will be greater in the first case, isn't it? It says that the pressure gradient will be greater in the first case. So when the isobars are close to each other, like within small distance, we have great variation of pressure, which means that the first statement is right. Pressure gradient force is strong where the isobars are close to each other and is weak where isobars are apart. Second statement, frictional force is minimal over sea surface. Simple logic you can apply. Frictional force, it's an opposing force, isn't it? When one body moves in contact with the other body, there will be an opposing force. We call that force as frictional force. We are talking about the wind. So when the wind moves, the frictional force will be applied by the obstructions such as trees, buildings, mountains, etc. In the sea, we don't have any buildings, any trees or anything like that. So the frictional force will be minimal. So the second statement is also right. So first statement right, second statement right. Look at the third statement. Coriolis force deflects the wind to the left direction in northern hemisphere and to the right in the southern hemisphere. So what is Coriolis force? It's a deflective force that acts on a floating body. And the reason for such a deflection is the rotation of Earth. So you need to study 4 important points regarding Coriolis force. Coriolis force, it is maximum at the poles, minimum at the equator. Or we can say that Coriolis force increases with increase in sign of latitude. Thirdly, it deflects to the right in northern hemisphere, to the left in southern hemisphere. So here the third statement is saying that Coriolis force deflects the wind to the left direction in northern hemisphere and to the right in southern hemisphere. This is just given as the opposite. It will be deflecting to the right in northern hemisphere and to the left in southern hemisphere, which makes the third statement wrong. So in the question, first 2 statements are right, third statement is wrong. So the answer is A, 1 and 2 only. So it's very important to study such factors or conditions in geography. Like for example, the condition for formation of a tropical cyclone or the ideal condition for the existence of hot water corals. So when you are given some conditions or the factors affecting some phenomena or some events, it's very important to study those because UPSC have a tendency to ask questions regarding those. Like how well you have understood that concept is checked by whether you know the factors, how it is getting affected, all those things. So that is the second question.